Center for International Security and Cooperation is Stanford's hub for research, teaching, and policy outreach on all issues related to international security, ranging from nuclear safety and security to biological threats and cybersecurity.
It is a place that looks at the international security environment, but brings people who have very different perspectives on international security. People who've served in the military, people who may come from the legal profession and have views about international law and international security, economists, political scientists, sociologists.
A lot of people talk about being interdisciplinary. CISAC truly is interdisciplinary.
What is the nature of the allegation? What is the nature of the evidence? Why should the council divert its efforts?
There's something very special about CISAC's teaching and training mission.
CISAC started as a teaching program years ago during the Cold War. We've continued on teaching ever since the founding of this institution.
We are educating people who are going to go on and become the people in the White House, people in Congress, people in the military who are going to make decisions, not just for the United States, but around the world.
It's inspiring to watch these students.
Iran has the largest and most diverse ballistic arsenal in the Middle East. If combined with nuclear technology, this has the potential to threaten the entire world.
Some of our instructors include former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of Defense William Perry, the former ambassador to Afghanistan and the former commander of the forces in Afghanistan, Carl Eikenberry. And those are just the three who we're teaching this year.
And it's amazing to be able to hear from these people who are the people of the government or anyone in the world when they say, wait, who am I going to talk to about this? They go to them.
You feel like you're in history listening to Condoleezza Rice just a few years out of the Bush administration, talking about the legacy of 9/11 or the war on terror.
It's great to have kind of like these amazing professors being like, yes, I'm interested in your topic, I'm interested in what you're doing, like let me help you.
It's not an uncommon phenomenon to read a paper that's a seminal policy piece and realize it's written by one of your professors, which has happened to me on more than one occasion.
The people that are here and then the people that come through as speakers and guests just give you kind of one-stop shopping for exploring these security issues.
CISAC plays, I think, a very important role by being able to stand back from the day-to-day issues and to do really in-depth research that can be applied to future policy problems.
Our research we call policy relevant or engaged research. And the idea is that we want to do deep dives into very important issues, but translate that research in a way that can affect what happens in Washington and capitals around the world.
Everyone here is absolutely concerned about engagement with the rest of the world. Undertaking work like visiting and trying to further develop refugee camps in Africa, or travel to Central America to understand civil strife and conflict and the drug trade.
All my research for my entire professional career has focused on terrorism. Before the 9/11 attacks, most academics who specialized in foreign policy did not think of terrorism as a national security threat whatsoever. And that kind of complacency may have been one of the reasons why we were not as alert as we should have been to the prospect of something like 9/11. All my research has policy implications. I'm the sort of academic who feels that having a practical impact is really a very good idea.
Post 9/11, I deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan, and most recently my job was running a counterinsurgency advisory team stationed around Afghanistan. We're not going to do better addressing these problems by fighting harder in the field. I think we're going to do better by increasing our understanding and awareness of the problems. And a place like CISAC is a great example of that effort to increase awareness, increase understanding of these very challenging threats.
We want to be both on top of issues that are in the news and in front of issues that are in the news. To think about what does deterrence look like in the 21st century?
Cybersecurity is one of the next most important national security issues that anyone has to think about. The problem is the more information technology you use, the more vulnerable you are. So we're among the most vulnerable societies in the world.
We're making headway in various sectors in terms of identifying the vulnerabilities and moving to fix those vulnerabilities, but we're not as prepared as we need to be to address the threat.
Some have said that the 21st century is the century of biology. And this is now a time when I think we need to expand our mission space and think about the similar kinds of threats that might arise from misuse of life sciences.
We live in a really interesting time where much of what we used to know about international security is no longer the case. The world is no longer threatened by great states as much as it's threatened by weak states. And so today's undergraduates and pre-doctoral fellows and postdoctoral fellows are really at the cutting edge of how we need to be thinking about a new array of threats and a new way of dealing with them.
One of the things that's important for a university is that if you stick to what you do best, research and teaching, you will have an impact.
The CISAC program has inspired me to want to go into public service and want to go into policymaking even sooner than before.
I have yet to see a case in which students are not really, really excited and exhilarated to pursue more policy-rich applications of whatever it is they're studying.
That's the beauty of CISAC. It's not just connections, it's not a networking tool, that's not what it's about. It's about that thought connection that you can have.